Yeah, greetings of the day. So on this day, in this video, you will learn about JDBC driver types and JDBC packages. So let us see. Introduction to JDBC drivers. So JDBC drivers are used to connect Java applications to a relational database. A relational database is the one that has keys like primary keys, foreign keys, or there may be a relation, that is a table may have one-to-one relation, one-to-many, or many-to-many relations. So these things you might be studied or studying in DBMS subjects. So the same thing. So they translate Java database queries into DBMS specific calls. So different types of JDBC drivers caters to various architectures and requirements. So some databases are servers, some databases are small applications, some database may be a Microsoft application like Access, MS Access. So we have different types of JDBC drivers for different architectures of database. So types of JDBC drivers, we are having actually 4 types of drivers. So let us see one by one what these drivers are and what they do. Okay, so let us see the first type of JDBC driver. So first one is JDBC-ODBC bridge driver. So what it does, it converts a JDBC method call into ODBC function calls. So JDBC is related to Java database connectivity and ODBC stands for Open Database Connectivity. So Open Database Connectivity will be concentrating on database part, so database side. So JDBC will be having methods and ODBC has function calls. Okay, as per API document, they will be interacting, both Java and the database will be interacting with this type 1 database or bridge driver. So what it requires? It requires an ODBC driver installed on the system. So we need to have a ODBC already installed. So there is a different process for a database, there is a different process for Access, a different process for MySQL and so on. So we have to install this on the system or machine that we are having the database. Then less efficient due to additional translation layers. So we require additional translation layers. Why we require a translation layer? A translation layer will translate the type of data. The data type, if you are using Java, in Java we are having integer data type. So integer data type is having different memory occupation space requirements. So if you are having in Java, we are having JIT compiler. Okay, JIT compiler is going to compile the program. So in the JIT compiler is responsible for allocating the space for the variables. For example, an integer data type, it may occupy 4 bytes of memory. So it may occupy 8 bytes in a 32-bit compiler. So we are having compiler bits. So it is doubled in 64-bit compiler. It is further doubled in 128-bit compiler. So, and moreover, for example, in Java, we are having 4 bytes of integer type. And coming to database like Oracle doesn't have this concept. We are having number of 5, number of 10, number of 100, like that you are specifying the size. Okay, so number data type. In MySQL, we are having int data type. Okay, so this kind of translation from a Java integer to MySQL integer or Java integer to Oracle number type is called as translation. This kind of translation layers are required and mostly depreciated and not recommended for enterprise use. So we say that it is mostly depreciated, means now the service providers, the one who is called as a vendor of that particular database or that particular driver, is not providing any service. So that particular thing is depreciated. So we should not use for enterprise use. For just education purpose, you can use it, you can install and you can cross check whether it is working fine or not. Okay. So this is the sample code. So in this code, just a second, highlighter, yeah. So in this code, you can see that we are having over here, one URL is there, this URL. So URL is equal to JDBC, ODBC, then my database. Okay, so this JDBC ODBC my database is the URL, and we need to provide the username of the database and the password of that database. Okay, so these things are a common requirement. And in order to use this particular driver, we need to use a package called as java.sql.star. Okay. So the class.forName. So here we write a method class.forName sun.jdbc.odbc.jdbc-ODBC driver. So what is this? It is going to load the driver type 1. Okay, bridge driver. So sun.jdbc.odbc.jdbc-ODBC driver. In that, sun is the name of the package. In that, we are having a JDBC, which is a sub package. In that, ODBC is another package, and in that, JDBC ODBC driver is a interface. No, sorry, it is a class. So what is this class.forName? Class.forName is a method to load that particular class into the memory. So whenever we run a program, that program starts executing. Who is executing this one? This one will be executed by operating system. So operating systems load that particular program onto the memory is called as execution. So how it loads that particular program? That loads the program using class.forName. Class.forName is a method that loads a class onto the RAM, which is called as execution. So now we are loading the driver. So we are registering the driver using class.forName. Then we are establishing a connection. Connection is equal to driver manager dot get connection, the provided URL, the username, and the password. Now, once driver is registered, we are going to connect to that particular registered driver using a class called as connection class. And that connection is the object, the small connection, small CONNECTION is the object that connects to that particular driver manager. Okay. Then once we connect to a particular database, we can start executing the statements. The statement HTML is equal to connection dot create statement. Now we are trying to create a statement in the memory. Okay, so to execute certain set of commands. Now you can execute two kinds of commands. One may be the update command, or another one is a retrieving select command. Either you retrieve the data or you modify the data. Coming to modify, we can perform update, we can perform insert, we can perform delete. Okay, so here we are planning to execute a simple select statement. So we are writing that query. String query is equal to select star from my table. My table is a table that exists already in that particular database. That already exists in that particular database. Then we are going to create a result set. Result set is equal to statement dot execute query. Execute that particular select statement query and store that in a result set. A result set is a buffer pool. Result set is a buffer pool which holds the intermediate results that are obtained. So we write while rs.next means every time result set will be providing the data pertaining to a particular record, only one record. So result set.next means every time we retrieve one record at a time. Suppose we are having 14 records, then we are going to get one record at a time, first record, second record, third record. So that's why we are using a while loop over here. Then based on the data type, we are going to declare that one. Integer ID, maybe the data type ID is available in the database in the form of an integer. Then we are having a string name. So maybe that name is in the form of string format. So if we don't know, simply replace that with a string format. That's it. At the last, we are displaying all the information. Then we are closing the result set, means we are deallocating the memory allocated for result set. Okay. Then we are closing the statement. Then we are closing the connection. Okay. So this is how we establish a connection. We register a driver. We establish a connection. We establish a statement. We create a statement. Then we start executing the statement. The results obtained by that execution will store in a result set. Then that result set will be utilized. So if we got any exception, so we can use class not found exception. If the driver doesn't exist, so we are going to get class not found exception or SQL exception. Then in either of the cases, we are going to catch that particular exception. So let us move to the next one. So the other type of driver is type 2 native API driver. This is called as native API driver. It uses database vendor specific client libraries. So we are going to target a specific database, not any database. Okay. If you are using MySQL, then you will be writing separate code for MySQL, targeting that particular API or the vendor. So if you're writing for Oracle database, in that which version? So we are having many versions in Oracle also. So that particular API will be concentrated, that particular vendor will be concentrated. So this code which runs on Oracle may not easily run on MySQL, will not run on Microsoft Access. Okay, specific. We are concentrating on vendor specific. It provides better performance than type 1. Okay, it is very clear. It requires client-side installation of database-specific drivers. So we need client-side database installation too. We have server-side, client-side. Okay. Who is going to use? Means if you want to restrict the users also, you can use this kind of native API driver. It is not portable across different databases because we are targeting only one database. So this is the code associated with that one. Okay. Either you can write java.sql.store import, or you can import individually like this. Import java.sql.connection, import java.sql.statement, import. Okay. So individually we are importing the class. Then we have type 2 is the name of the class of this particular program. So here you can concentrate. We are concentrating on a particular vendor. Now the particular vendor is JDBC colon Oracle is the vendor. We are providing OCI at the rate localhost 152 colon XC. Okay. So we are adjusting as per our database requirement. So that requirement we are going to provide here, and that database may have a username and password. If we don't have, just give a blank. We need to have that. So class.forName will load that particular driver into the memory. So Oracle JDBC driver, Oracle driver is the name of that particular database connection or driver manager. Then we are creating the same connection, driver manager.connect get connection, then the same statement. Then we are executing the same result set. Nothing changed, everything is same, only that particular URL changes. The rest of the code remains as it is, same. So let us move to the next one, type 3 network protocol driver. So network protocol, by the word you see that this is a shared network. Network means in the sense we have multiple servers located at different locations, maybe. So you want to utilize based on protocol means a set of rules that govern them. So here what we are going to do is we will be having a third party middleware, a third party application, which is going to connect with the user and with the database part, okay? The server and the database part. So that particular middleware is called as a middleware server. Okay. So type 3 network protocol driver uses a middleware server to interact with the database. It is not going to directly interact. We'll be having a third-party tool that is providing some extra security for that particular application. So it is more flexible as it allows connections to multiple databases. Now, when we try to store the data into a single database, generally we perform an operation on a single database. Now, this middleware technology is going to utilize more than one database. We don't know how many databases are there. Maybe if there is a single database, how many tables it is going to create. So here the main concentration is on availability of data. The main concentration is on availability of data. So it may be cloud even. We can't say directly, but it may be a cloud application where a cloud application might be installing or storing that particular data on multiple servers or multiple databases. So this can happen. So more flexible as it allows connection to multiple databases, requires additional setup and maintenance of middleware tier server. So we require a middleware tier server installation. So this is some hectic work, and we are relying on the middleware or middleware technology. We are having some technologies like we are having Corba. One service is Corba, one is SOAP protocol we have as a middleware. The other one is PostgreSQL. We are having a third party tool called as PostgreSQL that we are using or we utilize for this particular purpose. So it is commonly used in large scale applications. So let us see one program so you can understand the same thing. We are having the differences in URL. You can see here JDBC:net. Now we are providing the URL of the middleware and the name of that database in that particular middleware technology. So here we are using middleware_server, and the port number. IP is 1527. There is like localhost 8080. Generally, whenever we install a server, we are going to get localhost 8080 over here. So we are having 1527 over here. In that, we are having a sample database. And here, if you see, we are loading the PostgreSQL driver, which is a middleware technology that we use. It is a network driver. Okay. So we are loading that network driver over here. So we use class.forName org.postgresql.driver. Load that particular driver that is related to a third party, which is available on net colon middleware servers colon 1527 slash sample database. Then we have the same database connection, same code for database connection, driver manager.get connection. Then we have the same code for statement. Statement is statement is equal to connection.create statement, same result set, same loop, same exception handling. Okay. So everything remains same, only the driver registration part is different. So let us go to the last driver that is most oftenly used by all of us, that is thin driver, type 4 thin driver. So it directly interacts with the database using an API protocol. It provides the best performance among all JDBC driver types, does not require additional middleware or native libraries. We can also use, but there is no restriction that we have to use or we should not use. Okay, highly portable and widely used in enterprise applications. So generally, in any application, maybe the application provider, for example, it may be Mahindra, TCS, or any software company, they are going to give the particular software to the end user. Okay. Now here, providing the software to the end user doesn't mean that they give database also. They store the database in their own environment. That is how they retain the customers. Okay. That is how they retain the customer. So they are going to provide the front end only to the end user. The database will be available at that particular location of the service provider. That may be a developer. So I say that Satyam or Mahindra or TCS, whoever is developing that application will be having the database part in-house. Now, whenever we have an in-house database at the development center, now we are going to use a thin drive. So on the machine that we write the code already has that server running. So that server running integration is very easy. So we use the type 4 driver for this purpose. So here the same thing I'm using again PostgreSQL database, which is running on my local machine. So I'm using the same PostgreSQL. Okay. So here the class.forName remains same org.postgresql driver. So you can also use the other one. Connection same, statement is same, the result set is same, everything is same, the rest of the program. Okay. So this is one example. So the main question comes choosing the right JDBC driver. So which driver has to be chosen as per the requirement of that application. So type 1 useful for testing, but not recommended for production because it is already depreciated. Type 2 is best for applications tied to a specific database vendor. If you are targeting only a specific database vendor, God only knows why, maybe that service is provided for free or something else, then as for your requirement, you can choose type 2 driver. Type 3 is suitable for large-scale distributed applications. If you are having more number of transactions that are going to hit a particular day, then go with this type 3. Like we are having Amazon, Flipkart, and any other server that is having n number of hits on second basis or more or less than that, then go with type 3. Type 4 recommended for high performance and portable applications. So we are having two packages to implement these. JDBC consists of several core packages that provide API support for database connectivity. So the key packages are Java.SQL is one key package, and another one is JavaX.SQL. Okay, JavaX.SQL. So both are having some classes and interfaces. As per the requirement, we import these two packages. Okay. So we are having Java.SQL that provides core SQL and interfaces for JDBC, as well as JavaX.SQL provides additional functionality for enterprise applications. So majorly we use JavaX.SQL when we are using servlets or any other advanced technologies. Once the time comes, we'll see that also. So Java.SQL package, it contains core interfaces such as connection, statement, result set, and driver manager. These four are required to perform an operation on a database. So it supports fundamental database operations like querying and transaction management. So the same thing, driver manager.get connection, JDBC, MySQL localhost 3306 my database, username and password. So here we are having the MySQL code that is running on the local machine with the local host 3306 and the name of the database on which you want to perform the operation. So a database may have more than one database. MySQL allows. You can create a number of databases. For that, what is the username? For that, what is the password? Okay. So package, SQL package provides advanced features such as connection pooling and distributed transactions. If you are handling distributed transactions, please go ahead with that one. Okay. Key interfaces includes data source, connection pool data source, and process. So commonly used in large scale enterprise applications. And finally, what you have seen in this particular video, the summary. So JDBC drivers enables Java applications to communicate with the databases. Different types of JDBC drivers offer varying performance and compatibility. The Java.SQL and Java.X.SQL packages provide necessary APIs for database connectivity. So mainly JavaX can be used for distributed applications. So choosing the right driver and package depends on application requirements. So that's it in this video. Have a great learning. Let's stop this particular section.